Can you tell if someone's trying to manipulate you? Well, you're definitely gonna find out when I tell you what happened in the 2018 thriller movie called Profile. You guys demanded spoilers, so here they are. And if you hate spoilers, this one is available right now on Peacock for free. But before I get into this, I need to say one thing. This movie does revolve around a sensitive subject, as we see in the comment section of my last video. So please let me make this clear. This movie is based on the true story of Anna Erelle, a French journalist who infiltrated an extremist group called ISIS over social media. As you watch, please keep in mind that this film and the book that Anna wrote about this situation both make it very clear that extremist groups do not represent Islam, they don't represent Muslims, and they do not represent the Middle East. In fact, you'll actually see that it denounces Islamophobia altogether. The theme of this movie is manipulation, and you're gonna find every single manipulation tactic used highlighted in red throughout the video. And this is gonna be a long one, so get comfortable. This movie was set in 2014 when, during that time, hundreds of young women met recruiters on social media, eventually leaving their home country of Europe to join ISIS in Syria. Now, this story begins with a woman named Amy Whitaker. She is a London-based journalist who is investigating these cases and trying to figure out why they happen so often. In order for Amy to gain information, she created a fake Facebook account under the name Melody Nelson, pretending to be this naive, newly converted girl with the hopes of getting closer to the recruits and the recruiters. She knew that if Melody was perceived as young and lacking knowledge on the religion, she would become a perfect target to the recruiters. But that comes into play later. For now, she's going through their Facebook pages and liking and sharing every disturbing piece of content that they have. And she's doing this because she's trying to make her profile fit in with theirs. During this time, we meet her boyfriend Matt, who is trying to show her what could be their new apartment. But it's pretty clear that Amy is not interested in this conversation at all, especially when she gets a notification from someone named Bilal. Bilal is a recruiter for the extremist group, and Melody, aka Amy, caught his attention when she unknowingly shared his video. She responds and he immediately starts asking her a number of questions. Him, are you Muslim? Her, I converted. Him, how did it happen? Melody, aka Amy, avoids the question by saying it's a long story. But then Bilal quickly shifts the conversation. He asks if she's from London. How did he know this? Well, Amy forgot to take her location out of Melody's bio, which was a huge mistake on her part. But that is how she learned that Bilal was actually from there too. He tells her exactly which part of London he's from and is very adamant about learning which part she's from, but Melody avoids that question too. That's when he decides to bring up a picture on Melody's profile, asking her if this image was her. She quickly deleted it and lied, telling Bilal that it was her older sister. He continues the conversation by asking if she wears a hijab, to which Melody says sure. Bilal is clearly pleased with this answer. Then he asks her if she has any questions about Syria, but he doesn't even let her answer the question before trying to take things off of Facebook and into Skype. He wants to see her face to face. Amy immediately screenshots the conversation and sends it to her boss, Vic. Then moments later, Vic Skypes her, sharing that she really likes this story and where it might be going. She says to Amy that if she's going to do it, they're gonna have to record it. So she's going to go get a guy from IT to help assist in this investigation remotely. In the meantime, Amy needs to do some research in order to give this fictional person a real life, a backstory that she can share with Bilal. She goes to YouTube and searches up different videos of girls who converted to Islam. She takes notes into the reasons why and incorporate them into her story. Now, keep in mind, this investigation that Amy is doing is very risky. So risky that her boyfriend Matt is becoming a lot more concerned than before. He's sending her articles, news reports, claiming that some of the extremists have came back to the UK. Now this makes Amy paranoid. And this happens in one of the worst times ever, because the IT guy named Lou finally calls back to help with the recording.
Are you Muslim, Lou?
My mother's Syrian.
Okay, do you mind if I just call you back in a second?
Fine. No problem.
Why would she choose him of all fucking people?
As you saw, Amy immediately hopped off the call to go ring Vic. And this is where you're going to see her display some completely Islamophobic and racist behavior. And the big question is, what is Vic's reaction to all this?
Amy, his mother's lived in England for 30 years.
You know who else was born here, Vic? The terrorist I'm about to speak to.
Understand how racist and prejudiced and politically incorrect you sound right now.
Yeah, I do, and I'm sorry. I'm just under a lot of pressure. The terrorist is Facebooking me, and I'm supposed to speak to him in 5 minutes. I want to feel safe, and I don't. This is a terrible idea.
To answer the question, Vic does not give a damn about what Amy has to say. If she's gonna be racist, she's gonna get replaced with somebody who's not. And because of that, Amy tightens up real quick.
Yeah, much better. Just, yeah, that's it. I like it.
Can you see the tattoo?
No. Good job with that. Yeah, nice. Okay, ready to go.
It's go time. Amy transforms into Melody and gets on the noisy Skype call with Bilel, while of course Lou is in the background monitoring everything. It's barely even a second into the conversation and Bilel has already started his sales pitch, calling where he lives a paradise. Melody asks how is it a paradise when people are dying? But of course he has an answer to that question, one that excuses all of his bad behavior. He shifts the subject, asking why she converted, and as she's trying to explain, he interrupts her asking how old she is. She tells him that she's almost 20. Bilel moves on and continues with his pitch, even sending her this disturbing video of an airstrike when there are kids nearby. Now, something about Bilel is that he never sticks to a subject for long. He's constantly changing the subject and sprinkling little love bombs along the way, all leading to the real question that he wants to ask. When are you coming here? Thankfully, Lou tells her to drop the call because he needs to free up some storage. Vic hops in and tells her that she's doing a great job, but she needs to finish this investigation as fast as possible, reiterating that what she is doing is very, very dangerous. Before she gets back on the call, Lou gives her some advice on how to answer that question. She's a respectable woman, she doesn't travel alone. But when she tells Bilel, he's not too happy with it, saying that he thought she was brave. After the call, Lou is very upset, and that is because Bilel had mentioned the word marriage, also telling Amy that most girls get married at 14 years old over there. But you guys, the investigation isn't over. Amy does more research and finds out that there are girls who go over there but are not married. In fact, they're actually being sold for you-know-what. So on their next call, Melody questions Bilel about that.
Look, there's a black sheep in every flock, okay? But for sure, baby, I'll keep you safe.
Classically shifting the conversation to tell Melody all the things she wants to hear. But shortly after that, things kind of take an uncomfortable turn. He notices that she's not looking at him, and what we know is that she's actually reading a text from Matt. Because Bilel did not have her undivided attention, he was a little bit suspicious. He wants her to show him her screen, even giving his credit card number so she can use it to pay for the feature. Amy jumps off that call so fast, immediately calling Lou for help, who I didn't mention that she actually hung up on at the beginning of the session. He tells her that she needs to create a new user on her laptop. That way, she'll have a clean desktop and Bilel will not see what she's actually doing. Amy does what Lou says and gets back on the call with Bilel, claiming that she had to get off the phone because her sister came in. Since this is the second time she's mentioned the sister, Bilel starts to ask some more questions, and then afterwards gets more suspicious, asking Melody if Melody is her real name.
Why you called Melody? It's no real name, is it?
No, it is. My father, he was French, and his last name was Nelson. So when he heard that song, Melody Nelson by Serge Gainsbourg, he thought that's what I'm going to call my first daughter.
Amy will continue to have these conversations with Bilel, and eventually without Lou. Although she's getting all the info she needs, the lines become very blurred, while Bilel's manipulation tactics become more strategic. Amy is losing herself, and some may even say is falling for him.
Wow, it's kind of hot.
Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, look at the way you look at each other. It's just not proper. Did you really make Matt eat that curry?
God, Kathy, stop it.
That is because she has now grown an emotional attachment to him, especially when she learns about his life before he joined this group. When things are starting to look up for Amy in her real life, like her getting a promotion at her job and being able to move in with her boyfriend finally, at the same time, things are getting more intense with Bilel.
No, you say you are, Melody. You're not 20 years old, are you? It's okay, you're ashamed to be this old and still unmarried, I understand. So, how old are you?
All right. I'm 26.
He starts asking questions about her appearance, which offends her, especially when he...
I still like to put a converted blue-eyed brunette on my path.
Bilel, my eyes are brown.
Really?
After this, Melody plays it off, but makes another mistake. And this one is a huge one.
My Melody. My future wife.
I haven't said yes yet.
Is that train tracks?
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's East London.
I fucking hate London.
But, as many of her other mistakes have, this one leads her to learning more about Bilal and his past. He tells her why he hates London and what happened to both his mother and his brother. This is a touchy subject for Amy. They get off the call and she opens up to him through text about what happened with her mom. He replies that he is so sorry. And in seconds, Amy is about to blow her cover by revealing to him who she actually is. But thankfully, she comes to her senses. She is in too deep and she knows it, but she just can't help it. Now over time, she falls even deeper into this twisted little story, especially when she sees him doing normal things like playing soccer with his friends. Seeing everyone laughing and smiling is really making her lose perspective. One day, she even goes as far as going to the cafe that he told her about. And while she's there, she gets the idea to call Vic.
I understand everything now, Vic. I understand exactly why he does what he does. You know, this process of recruiting new devotees over the internet, it's just a way for him to combat his solitude.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, Amy girl needs to stand up, because now it seems like she's only using this job to get closer to him. Vic can see this and she's starting to get a little bit concerned. At this point, she's ready to just transfer this case. But Amy is stubborn, she wants to stay on it, and she's not gonna listen. The story isn't done yet, they still need to figure out how the people are getting there. So after the call with Vic, she immediately calls Bilel, surprising him and showing him the shop as well as the owner that he knew once before. Now, although Bilel is happy about this, he is also very adamant at the fact that he needs to get off the phone. Where he is dangerous and they can track him. But Amy still needs answers. She tells him that she's ready to see him but needs to know how to get there. One, of course, for the story, but also to maybe go. But this conversation is cut short when there is a loud boom that strikes near him in the area. Amy witnesses Bilel fall to the ground and now she is screaming, crying out for Bilel, telling him to get up, screaming for someone to help him. He immediately hangs up to call Vic, but she's not about to console her. It's a few days later and now Amy is grieving Bilel, looking at old videos of him feeding cats and making soup. No matter how many times Vic asks, she refuses to send that footage. And at the same time, Amy is having trouble in her real relationship with her real boyfriend.
Hey, baby. I sent you the.
Can you just stop calling me baby, please?
Okay, all right. Sorry, I mean Amy. Is it connected with Bilel?
What? What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Your Facebook post.
Yes, you saw that right. This snaps Amy back to reality, where she comes to her senses and sends the video footage to Vic. That's when something very eerie happens. She gets a Skype call from Bilel's account. When she answers it, it looks like it's a funeral for him.
Fuck you!
Baby, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yep, that's right, Bilel is still alive. But something else happens. Bilel says that he's ready to get married. And after some hesitation, she agrees to do it. For the story, of course. Now, when it's all said and done, she has some instant regret. But then all of these friend requests start coming in. Facebook accounts that appear to be from the wives of the other recruits. Most of them being the young women who are the reason why she's doing all this. They're all messaging her at the exact same time, congratulating her on the marriage. But it's a marriage that won't be official until she steps foot in Syria. He gives her some sketchy instructions on how to get there. She has to take multiple flights and even stopping in Amsterdam. He wants her to stay the night at this specific hotel before going to Turkey, where he promises to meet her. Once she gets off the phone, Matt texts her. He knows everything.
Babe, hi.
So now you're his jewel.
No, listen to me. Listen,
No,
it was this
listen.
thing that I was doing with
I
Vic,
can't, I'm
right?
not doing this anymore.
Please, I just had to lie. I didn't lie to
I'm
you
done.
about
I'm
it.
done.
No, please
I'm
don't.
done.
No.
Now that their relationship is over, what does Amy have to lose? She books her flights and heads to Amsterdam to finish the story. Once she gets there, she calls Bilel from the hotel, tells her how proud of her he is and that she is a brave woman. But that was just to butter her up for what's to come next. Bilel reveals that he's not going to be meeting her in Turkey. Things are far too complicated for him to get there, so she'll be meeting someone else. Now Amy is furious about this and even goes off on him, which forces him to drop this lovey-dovey facade and show who he really is. Especially when he hears somebody knocking at the door.
No, listen to me.
Who's there with you? Who was at the door?
I don't know. Someone knocked at the door.
Show me a room. Show me a room.
What?
Where are you exactly?
I'm in Amsterdam at the birdcage, exactly where you told me to be. Look at my room. Look. Do you want to see outside the room? Do you want to see my plane ticket? Look.
You're gonna shut your mouth. You don't speak to me like that. Do you know who I am?
Man, this part was so triggering for me, but thankfully it made Amy kind of come to her senses. She hangs up on him and starts trying to make things right with Vic and Matt, but neither of them are answering. And Amy checks Matt's Facebook to see that he's already in another relationship. And just like clockwork, Bilel is calling back, and the manipulation begins all over again. He's calm, but he's not apologetic. He just goes straight into love bombing all over again, then giving her instructions on what to do when she gets there. He tells her to write down this number and call it off of her burner phone. But when the person picks up, he doesn't speak English. She tells the man that she doesn't understand him, and he hangs up in her face. Bilel tells her to call him back so he can translate, but then her phone dies. And that's when she will make one final mistake. She uses her personal phone to call this man, then allows Bilel to speak to him without knowing what they're talking about. After this, Amy gets off the phone with Bilel, but she feels a little bit uneasy. So she calls Lou and asks him to translate everything for her.
I'm sending you another girl tomorrow. This is the third girl this month. You're good. She's rotten meat. You only pay $2,000.
After this, she goes home and makes the expose documentary on Bilel and the recruitment tactics. After more research onto him, she finds out that he had 3 other wives. As she's editing the documentary, she's interrupted by a message from Bilel. He is angry because she didn't show up. Amy is terrified. Bilel calls her personal phone. Bilel knows the truth. He's just screaming at her before he hangs up, then seconds later sends her a video. This video reveals her face, her name, and even her address. They found her down to the exact apartment. And at the end of the video, it says that if anyone sees her, they are to take her life on sight. Bilel tells Amy that if she releases this information, he's going to release this video. Now, what would you do in this situation? Because Amy contemplates for a moment, then she makes her final decision. She's gonna run this story. As a result of this story coming out in 2014, 6 recruiters were arrested for their involvement, while Amy is living under protection to this day. Yeah, this one is wild.